VIP, I can go take a bottle. I went to the Grammys and I took my mama. Bottles on bottles on bottles and models on models on models and dollars on dollars. Yeah, that don't help me on my phone when I holler. I'm feeling the pain and I'm dealing with drama. Woo! That's too deep. Nigga better fall back. Get this work. You should wore a hard hat. They told us to work in the summer. I told them I'm working on something. I'm waiting on my pattern, no propaganda. Why you thinking in your front of the mirror? Give that break. Give that break.
All right. Welcome. My name is Eric Wortham, behavior specialist, author, educator, and spokesperson for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I'm here today to talk about a few things that I have going on and talk about some things that I want you to be looking out for in the near future. On my birthday in last February, I talked about releasing my brand new book, The Immaculate Concept of Me, and I talked about the format of how we're going to be doing this. I'll be at different venues, different event centers, clubs, just different places around the state of Georgia is where I start, and then we'll venture out to other states. But be looking out for it. Be looking at my Facebook page. You can also go to my website, www.teamwortham.org. Teamwortham, my last name, .org. And so this is how we're going to be doing it. It's going to be the same thing as my birthday party. I'll be giving a 7-minute, just like a little brief motivational speech, because that's my goal. My mission in life is to help the below average and average thinking individual learn that they have above average potential to be great. So everything that I do is surrounded around that fact. I want to help people realize that they have greatness already in them, because I believe my philosophy in life is that God has given everybody some type of ability. I mean, I work with students that are special needs students. We don't call them special need anymore. We call them exceptional student education is what it's called now. But I work with those students, and a lot of those students are doing some great things right now because even they have the ability to do some great things. So it is my belief that God has put greatness in everybody. And today I want to talk about the two things. This is the kind of thing I'm going to be talking about. It's two things that separate those that reach their full potential from those that don't. And that's going to be pretty much the bulk of where I'm coming from. Again, 7 minutes is all it's going to be, so it's going to be brief. It's going to be fast. Then I'm going to give the audience a chance, 5 minutes to ask questions about life, whatever you kind of questions you got, and just talking about you trying to get better, whatever your questions. I'll give you a chance to ask questions, and then I'll talk about the opportunities that I have created to help people to actually get there. Opportunities to learn some of the strategies that I have to help you get there. And so that's what I'll be doing. So I'll be talking about basically these two things. It won't go that way. It'll be a different subject. But today, I just want to start out about talking about these two things. It's two things that keep us from getting to where we are operating in our peak capacity or our max potential. And that's where we want to be. We want to be operating in our max potential. And one of the things I did as a basketball coach is I used to tell my players, if you come to the side, because I used to hear early on, I used to hear them talk about, man, I'm going to go this place after the game. And so I would talk to them and say, hey, if you have enough energy left to go and do some of those other things, then you didn't give me everything. And that's what I required. I want you to give me everything. I want you to be spent. When the game is over, you shouldn't have energy to do nothing. All you should want to do is go home and get in the bed or get in the ice tub or whatever. And so that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about in life. To reach your full potential, that's the kind of attitude we got to have. We have to put in the effort to where we are spent. We don't have anything left. And that's how we want to leave this life. We want to make sure that we've left everything on the floor. Like we say in basketball, I want to leave everything there every single night. And so it is with our walk in life. We want to leave everything, on the floor. And so there's two things. Number one is a superior work ethic. Superior work ethic. That means that I understand that I have to work way, way more than I play. And that's where a lot of people get in trouble, because we don't understand that we have to develop our craft. Once we find out what that gift is, we have to develop that craft. We have to invest in it. We have to put the work in it. We have to practice. We have to do all those things to develop our craft into near perfection. That's how we're going to get to where we want to be. And the way we do that is we have to have a superior work ethic. And I'm going to talk in a minute. I'm going to use Tyler Perry, for example. I have my own examples as well, and you'll hear those things. But I want to use somebody that actually made it, Steve Harvey, all these guys. They had to do the same thing. They had a superior work ethic. They made sacrifices, and that's what young people, sometimes that's what you don't do. You don't make the sacrifice. Sometimes I got to sacrifice fun in order to get to where I want to be. And if I sacrifice it now, I can have the fun on the later end, but right now I got to make sacrifices. I can't do everything that I want to do. I can't go everywhere I want to go, because I have to be focused on developing my craft. And so that's the first thing, is we have to have a superior work ethic. And the next thing is we have to learn how to persevere. And that's just the ability to be able to pick yourself back up, because there are going to be times. As a matter of fact, most people don't make it because they give up. They give up as soon as some friction comes, as soon as resistance comes, as soon as you run into a little bump in the road. A lot of us give up. I hear it in students. Coach, I can't do this. This is too hard. Before they even try. This is too hard. Yeah, and that's how a lot of us is. We give up too early. I'm going to tell you something about Tyler Perry. This man, he wanted to do a play. Once he narrowed it down, because that's what I've had to do too, because God gives some people a lot of gifts. You can do a lot of things. So Tyler Perry got a lot of gifts. But he said he had to narrow it down to that one thing so he can focus on it, because when you're trying to focus on doing a whole lot of things, you're all over the place. And so you need to narrow it down to one, and that's what he did. He just wanted to get people to see his play, because he believed in his plays. He knew his plays were great. He just got to get it to the audience that will support him. And so the first year, he put all the money that he had and invested into renting a place, a facility where he can, invite people in to come see his play. Well, the first show, nobody really showed up, and he lost money. There was even a time when he said that he had his rent money. He put his rent money up and his car payment up, and he ended up homeless and not having a vehicle, And so he ended up in a difficult situation, but he kept doing it. And he tells us that he did it for 7 years. It was 7 years that he kept doing the same thing over and over again. Despite people I'm pretty sure people were telling him, man, you got to know when to give up, man. Maybe that ain't what God wants you to do. You can just imagine all the things that our parents say to us, all the things that our friends say to us, because we have this vision and we keep trying to go and keep trying to move. Well, people like Tyler Perry have that perseverance to where they are able to pick themselves up. I'm not saying great people get frustrated. I get frustrated, okay? We get depressed at times, but the difference is we don't live there. We don't stay in that depressed state. We don't stay there. We find ways to get ourselves back up, and that's what he did. He found a way every single time for 7 years to get himself back up, and that's what we don't do. That's the missing ingredient. We don't persevere. We give up as soon as we run into the least bit of friction. We stop. When it gets hard, when it gets difficult, we give up. And we have to stop doing that, because you'll never reach your peak capacity. You'll never reach your maximum potential unless you learn how to overcome things, persevere, keep going when difficult situations come. And so that's the kind of thing that I'll be talking about. And also I'll be talking about the books that I have. I have 2 books. This book is called From Dependency to Freedom, But I Still Must Fight. And this is a book that I wrote to help people that, are struggling in that drug addicted state. And I'm not saying I do not support, alcohol, at its minimum at safe risk levels, because we have found that there are some medicinal purposes for alcohol, some healthy things that it benefits to it. And so I don't necessarily say abstain, but you can if you want to, if that's your thing. But I do say we have to, understand what is safe. And so in the book, I talk about, how you can overcome, how can you be watchful of becoming addicted, because we don't just wake up in the morning and say, hey man, one day I want to be an addicted person. That's not how it happens. Things happen over a course of time. And so in the book, you'll start seeing some of those things that happened to me that caused me to get into my addicted state. And then I'll talk about how I got over it. So, I went from being dependent on drugs and alcohol to do everything, play sports, just everything that I did that was major. I had to be high to do it or drunk to do it. And so that's when you become dependent. So I had to go from being that to where I became a mountain mover and I was free. I believed that I can do anything that I put my mind to. So that book is, it'll cost you, I think it's $10 on, it's $10 on Amazon, and you can get it on my website again, www.teamwortham.org. You can get it for $10 as well. And then my new book, the one that I'm excited about as well, it's called The Immaculate Concept of Me. And again, the theme for this book is that when I learn how to change my perspective of how I see myself, my whole world changes. Everything gets better emotionally, relationship-wise, on my job, when I'm trying to grow and get better and, move up, everything get better. And also how I deal with people, how I see value in people are all determined into how we see ourselves. If we have low self-esteem, if we have a low perception of ourselves, we're going to see everything in a negative way, even other people. So, and if we have a high self-esteem or a high perspective of ourselves, things, of course, are going to be different, and that's where we want to operate at. That's where we want to be at. And also, I have seminars, risk reduction, drug, alcohol risk reduction seminar that I do. It costs a little money, but I promise you, every time I've done it, I do it for the state of Georgia. For those that have been to DUI school, it's the same curriculum, but when I do it, my students stay woke. I have students that have to come because they have to give up their whole weekend. And I have students that come and they're just getting off work in the morning and they stay up because I make the class that interesting. And the curriculum itself is just an amazing curriculum. And when we learn, when we educate ourselves, we can make better decisions on how we do things, because we don't want drugs and alcohol to prevent us from being the best person that we can be. So I have that risk reduction. I have mindset seminars that I do for young people. It can be I can do an hour speak, or it can be a 20-hour program. I got a 20-hour program too that I can do that's more detailed and it's more intense. But you get a lot out of that one as well. I have a parenting training seminar because the strategies that we use, our parents use on us, it won't work with our millennial kids. It won't work with their kids either. So we have to sharpen up our strategies. And I got strategies that can help you help your kids be more successful. And so I do that as well. So I have all these seminars. I'm a spokesperson for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And again, that organization is set up to provide training and just awareness, for people, education for people that suffer with some type of mental health illness like myself, like my wife. And so I have a host of things that I want to be able to help you be able to get over and to be able to live your best life, because that's what I got on the back of that book is be the best you that you can be. And everything that I do is designed to help you be the best you that you can be. And that's what I was talking about. You have to learn how to invest into being the best person that you can be. Okay? A lot of people understand that. Some of us don't. But we have to learn how to invest in those things. Go to seminars, get some things. Even you can read. We hit in the age of Google. We can Google everything, but you have to be able to study and try and practice some of the strategies that you learn. Okay, and so be looking out for me. I'll be at different clubs. I got my brother Xavier Cade helping me, the Mays High graduate, helping a Fulton High grad. Man, what about that? But my brother will be helping me to get to that next level, because he'll be getting to the next level as well. So be looking at our Facebook page, and just remember, we have to support each other. Have to support each other, and that's the thing that we don't do as well. We have to learn how to support each other. Come out to the events, man. If you don't come, but stay 10-15 minutes just to say hello, that's supporting your brothers and sisters, and we have to start doing that. And again, I want to leave like I leave every podcast. I always say, be all you can be by doing all you can do. Thank you.